Welcome back once again. In today's module, we will be discussing something about innovation and design thinking. So, we have been through the definitions of innovation, trying to understand what exactly could be innovation. And also, we are into designing of the methods through which we can just come up with innovation. So, this module gives an idea about what could be and what are the facets of innovation, and also the method of design thinking in order to come up with new innovations. So, regarding technological change, we can't actually think about technological change in different phases. And according to Schumpeter, the process of technological change in a free market consists of three parts. So, it consists of invention, innovation and diffusion. So, the invention is all about conceiving a new idea or process. Innovation is all about arranging the economic requirements for implementation of an invention. Whereas diffusion is whereby people observing the new discovery adopt or imitate it. So, rather we can see that it is traversing from one point to the other. So, invention is all about going with a totally new idea or process wherefrom you have to make something new, and there has to be a technological or a totally novel kind of a thing when it comes to invention. But when it comes to innovation, the application of the invention comes in. So, it could be like application of the invention onto different contexts where you can find the usefulness of it. So, the arranging the economic requirement, the resources that is required for implementing these inventions, but with a novelty of the first use case of it can be regarded as innovation. Then when it comes to diffusion, these innovative kind of a things which are adopted in different contexts could be popularized, and many people will be ready to use it. So, that is known as diffusion. So, these basic tenets of the technological change one has to keep in mind, so that what we are traversing to should be very much clear to us. So, innovation and creativity. So, we may totally think about creativity and innovation simultaneously. It is of course similar, but it is not the same. So, what is the difference between creativity and innovation? So, creativity fosters unique ideas, but when it comes to innovation, novelty is the key component. For an idea to be innovative, it also must be useful. The creative ideas don't always lead to innovations because they don't necessarily produce viable solutions to problem. So, creativity may be preceding the innovation in the sense that if you are thinking out of the box, you may land upon several ideas. So, it is for us to understand whether these ideas can be just put onto what is known as a use for solving the problems that we have identified. So, it is totally that the creativity fosters unique ideas, and novelty is the key component of innovation. So, when there is a use, totally different kind of a use which can be totally fit into the problems that we have identified, we say that the idea be innovative. Now, what is innovation? Innovation is a product, service, business model or strategy that is both novel and useful. And innovations don't have to be major breakthroughs in technology or new business models. They can be as simple as upgrades to company's customer service or features added to the existing product. So, it need not be a total invention. So, the innovation could be in the form of a product or in the form of a service, or it can be a new business model or a new marketing strategy or which one that we can just differentiate by, with the usual conventional kind of a thing. And it could be novel as also useful, in the sense that an innovation should be so powerful to solve a problem that we have. It could not be just like an idea itself. So, the innovative mindset should be always linked to solving the problems what a customer has or a market has. And this is the total feature of innovation. So, when we hear the term invention, creativity and innovation, you should be able to differentiate between these three. And usually in the normal parlance, we use all these words simultaneously. But when it comes to the entrepreneurial mindset, this is practically different. And when you say that is an innovation, you are meaning that you find a use to whatever things are there around you in order to solve your day-to-day problem. And what are the types of innovation? And we could actually find 4 levels of innovation depending if new markets, or we open up new markets, or when the technology is changing. So, what are those different types of innovation? It is incremental innovation, architectural innovation, disruptive innovation and radical innovation. So, this is based on the markets and the technology, different levels of market and different levels of technology. So, in order to understand it better, we will see a pictorial depiction of these types of innovation. And you can see that on the x-axis we have plotted the technology, and on the y-axis we have plotted the market. Now, when you are plotting the technology, we are plotting it as existing and new technology. And similarly, in the case of the market, you can see that we are plotted in terms of existing and new markets. So, what is incremental innovation? So, if you just look at the picture, if you are having a existing technology being introduced to a existing market, you call it as incremental innovation. And if you are trying to take a new technology to an existing market, you call it as a disruptive innovation. And if you are taking the existing technology to a new market, you call it as architectural innovation. And if you are totally having a new technology and a totally new market, it is a radical innovation. So, this being the innovative mindsets what you might have depending upon the market and the technology that you might explore, we can classify the types of innovation. Now, we will go a little bit deep onto each types of innovation to understand it better. So, the first one is incremental innovation. So, what is incremental innovation? The existing technology and the existing market. One of the common forms of innovation that we can observe, and it uses the existing technologies within an existing market. And the goal is to improve an existing offering by adding new features, changes in design, etc. Now, what is that example we can just project for understanding this incremental innovation? And smartphone market, where the most innovation is only updating the hardware, improving the design or adding some additional features. For example, the cameras, the sensors, etc. could be a very good example for the incremental innovation. And if you are just looking at the smartphone market, you will understand that once you buy your smartphone, the next week if you just look into the market, you have another feature of the phone being added to a particular type of a phone. So, the existing technology, existing market, but you are having continuous type of innovation so that you are not out of the market. And incremental innovation is a must in advancement of the products, or rather staying into the market. You might remember the example of Nokia. Like Nokia was a market leader in the case of mobile phones, but they failed in making this incremental innovation and they lost the market just due to the introduction of other competitors who were making this incremental innovation. So incremental innovation is the new or it is a market mantra. Even if you are existing in the market, at this point you might be successful, but without an incremental innovation, you will not be able to exist in the market. Now, the second one could be the disruptive innovation. So, what is the disruptive innovation? As we have just understood, a new technology in the existing market is known as a disruptive innovation. So, it is mostly associated with applying new technologies, processes or disruptive business models to existing industries. And sometimes these new technologies and business models seems, especially in the beginning, inferior to the existing solutions. But after sometimes and after some iteration, they surpass the existing models and take over the market due to efficiency or efficacy advantages. For example, Amazon used to have this internet technologies to disrupt the existing industry for bookshops, and they had the existing market for the books but changed the way it was sold, delivered and experienced due to the use of disruptive technologies. And another example was the iPhone, where existing technologies in the market like the phones with buttons and keypads were replaced with the touch interface centered devices combined with intuitive user interfaces. So, this might be the continuous improvement again and the addition of the new features and new technologies, but you have an existing market where all these products might be sold and all the customers might be using it. When there is an additional advantage of this kind of an new technology, the customers will be adapt to such kind of technologies and they gradually shift towards using of this new technologies which are there in the market. So, the example is telling you as to what is that disruptive information. So, gradually all these customers shift towards these kind of technological breakthroughs what happens. So, Amazon, that they introduced by selling books, and practically it was extended to all other kind of things which could be brought over this e-commerce platform. Then comes the architectural innovation. So, this seems to be advancing onto new geographies, the existing technology, but you have a new market. So, the architectural innovation is something we see with the tech giants like Amazon, Google and many more at the moment. And they take the domain expertise, technology and skills and apply them to a different market. And this way they can open up the markets and expand their customer base. And examples could be the digital ecosystem orchestrators like Amazon and Alibaba use this innovation strategy to enter new markets. And they use existing expertise in building apps, platforms and their existing customer base to offer new services and products for different markets. A recent example for this is Amazon recently entered the medical care field. So, the architectural innovation could be effective when it comes to a big company or an existing company with a technology which is disruptive, but they find that they can actually go beyond the geographies. One product or technology which is successful in one country may be extended to another country or a different market, and they can open up markets and expand their customer base. In the case of the digital system, ecosystem, this is happening, and all these e-commerce kind of a thing appear to have this architectural innovation, which once it is successful in one place, they replicate that in other geographies as well. So, what is radical innovation? So, it is a totally different kind of innovation, totally the different technology, a different or a new market. So, even if it is the stereotypical way most people see innovation, it is the rarest form of them all. And radical innovation involves creation of technologies, services and business models that open up entirely new market. So the best example for a radical innovation was the invention of the airplane. So this radical new technology opened up the new form of travel, invented an industry and a whole new market. So it could be the new technology and the whole new market. And for example, another thing what I would project as an example could be the aggregation market. So before we didn't have the aggregation kind of a thing where we did not have that platform kind of a concept where the sellers and the buyers could meet together virtually, and the sellers could list the services and the buyers could find the sellers of the services. So this could be an innovation, a radical innovation when this was this was introduced in the first place. Then it gradually shifted on to different contexts so that we the kind of disruption happened. So this could be a radical innovation as well. The disruptive technologies also could be termed as radical innovation when it was used in the first instance. Now, what is the importance of innovation? So when you are thinking about innovation, we have to think about what exactly could be the importance of innovation. Why is it so important to find out or innovate? Unforeseen challenges are inevitable in the business, and innovation can help you to stay ahead of the curve and grow your company in the process. And here are 3 reasons that innovation is crucial for your business, that allows adaptability. So just think of the recent COVID-19 pandemic. It disrupted business on a monumental scale. Routine operations were rendered obsolete over the course of few months, and many businesses still sustain negative results from this world shift because they stick to the status quo. And innovation is often necessary for companies to adapt and overcome the challenges of change. So as we said, this was one disruptive kind of a, or otherwise it is a supportive kind of a thing what happened when it comes to the businesses. Of course, it devastated the businesses, the COVID-19 pandemic, just because of the reason that all the people were locked up all over the world. But it created a lot of adaptive culture to technology. So if you are just looking at the reports which came after the COVID-19 pandemic, we could see that all the people who were having the technology anxiety were using the technology without any hesitation, just because of the reason that the health anxiety went over this technology anxiety. So even if you are using a mobile phone for calling or messaging purposes, the people were reluctant to transfer the money. But after COVID-19, you were in a position that if you are having a physical contact, even with the money, there is all possibilities that COVID-19 could be contracted. So you are ready to do this financial transaction over the mobile phone in order to avoid the health anxiety. So it created an adaptability, and we cannot say that that kind of an induced kind of a thing will happen in all phases. But the innovations or that could be treated as one of the requirements of that particular scenario, where we had to maintain what is known as a social distancing, which allowed and the digital kind of a technology allowed an adaptability for that. Then what else, or what is the other aspects which tells you about the importance of innovation? So it fosters growth, and the stagnation can be extremely detrimental for your business. Achieving organizational and economic growth through innovation is the key to staying afloat in today's highly competitive world. So the innovation fosters growth. So as I said, in order to exist in this market economy, you cannot just sustain with your product as it is. So you have to constantly innovate. Even if it is an existing product, you have to constantly innovate by adding more features to that, what we said as incremental innovation. So otherwise you are going to be pushed out of the market, because all your competitors will be coming up with, incremental changes onto the products. When they innovate, they come with an extra feature. So you'll be taken out of the business. So it fosters growth, and you have to concentrate. Even if it is an existing business, you have to take it that it fosters the growth, and you have to just be aligned with the kind of innovative kind of a things happening in the industry. It separates the businesses from their competition. Most industries are populated with multiple competitors offering similar products or services, and innovation can distinguish your business from others. So this happens in the case of innovation, like the competition is immense in all the fields. And if you are innovating, what happens is that your business will be standing out from the competitors, or otherwise what happens is that the growth perspective will be limited for yourself, because you are just in tune with what the competitors are doing. So doing something more than that will be fostering your place in the business scenario. Now we will just try to see how the design thinking can be used for innovations, and several tools are there which encourage innovation in the workplace. If you are going to look at the theories of creativity and how you can just foster the creativity at the workplace, there could be a lot of matches, like lot of methods to come up with the innovation. For example, when a problem's cause is difficult to pinpoint, you can turn to approaches like creative problem solving. And one of the best approaches to innovation is adopting a design thinking mentality. So what exactly is a design thinking? Design thinking is a solution-based, human-centric mindset. It's a practical way to strategize and design using the insights from observations and research. So what is a human-centered design? So innovation requires considering user needs, and design thinking promotes empathy by fostering human-centered design, which addresses explicit pain points and latent needs identified during the innovation's clarification stage. So what are you just looking at when you think about a human-centered design? Or design thinking is rather a solution-oriented problem identification method. So who are you centering on when you are trying to have a design thinking approach? It's nothing but you are trying to focus upon the individuals and their individual pain points and the latent needs which are identified during the process of design thinking. So it is a systematic approach, or rather we say that it is an empathetic approach that is garnered towards observation of the humans, or rather traversing with the humans for identifying what are all the problems. Identification of the problem is the key. Once you identify that there is a problem with a human, you just try to define and consider what exactly the human is feeling. And then what you do is look upon the creative ideas, or look upon tap your creativity so that you create the solutions that match your needs which has been identified as the problems. Or it could be the needs, it could be the problems, and it could be the kind of desires that one has. So whatever the creative solutions and the usable solutions could be matched against these points where you find a match between the market, or rather these are the customers that you identify that point, at that point where you identify the pain points, and this could be matched with the solutions that you deliver at different stage. And there are three characteristics of a human-centered design. The desirability for a product to or service to succeed, people must want it. and the prosperous innovations are attractive to consumers and they meet their needs. So the desirability of the product or the service should be there and the people should want it. So one aspect that you might focus on this human-centered design is the desirability. What is the requirement of the customer? Then the next could be the feasibility. The innovative ideas, as we said, it won't go anywhere unless you have the resources to pursue them. You might consider whether the ideas are possible given the technological, economic or regulatory barriers. So the feasibility of the idea is the key, or the usability of the idea or practicality of the idea could say or tell you that whether it is feasible or not. So unless and otherwise the ideas are feasible, you will not be able to just consider that this is an innovative kind of a thing. As we said, what is the difference between creativity and the innovation? When the creative ideas are useful, you call it as innovation. Then you have the viability, and if a design is desirable and feasible, it needs to be sustainable. So you must consistently produce and deliver designs over extended periods for them to be viable. So the viability is a concern that you need to look into, it is good that you have the innovation, the usability is there, but it should not be restricted to a particular, it should not be temporal, and it should not be limited by the time period, limited use period. But it can be, it should be extended beyond the barriers, and it should be sustainable. It should move along with the time, and the constant innovations can keep it alive. So the viability of the idea also could be just a focus when it comes to a human centered design. And consider these characteristics while problem solving, as each is necessary for successful innovation. So these tips are going to help you when you are taking it up for the innovation. So what are the different fields of innovation? Innovation can be different forms and outcomes. So you can see that there could be different kind of innovations happening in different facets. So what are those types of innovations that are possible? So the first one is product and product performance innovation. Either a new product is developed or the performance of an existing product is improved, and this kind of innovation is very common in the business world. Example, we told about the smartphones. We said that the performance of the existing product is constantly improved, and when you're telling about a new product, lot of new products are being developed these days. For example, if you just look at the R&D institutes, new products, new inventions are happening. So that could be termed under the product and product performance innovation. Next could be the technology innovation. New technologies can be also the basis for many other innovations. The best example was the internet, which was itself an innovation but also led to other innovations in the various fields. So the technology, improvement in the technology or inventions in the technology. For example, if you just tell about the technology inventions like the blockchain technology. So it led to different kind of innovations, applications in various fields, and this technology kind of a thing has actually improved on how we live, the standard of living, and how the technologies can be taken forward in different sectors could be just taken up with this technology innovation. Next could be the business model innovation. Many of the most successful companies in the world manage to innovate their business model using different channels, using different technologies and markets that can lead to new possible business models which they can create, deliver and capture customer value. And digital ecosystems are the well-known example for the innovation using several technologies and creating the whole new type of business. So the business model innovation or rather embedding some kind of a new kind of a, for example, it can be the technological models which is innovated into your business for taking it forward. If you are just telling the example of again COVID-19, what type of innovations we brought about into even the local businesses. So this could be treated as a business model innovation. All of the customers were locked up at home, and you had this shops and companies or the businesses staying over there trying to connect to the customers. So whatever method was there using the technology, you tried to harness those technology into your businesses so that you connect to the consumers. So this could be treated as a business model innovation, and we call it as the phygital kind of a world. You have a physical store, but you have to have a digital kind of an option embedded into your business, or otherwise you are not going to be successful in this kind of a digital world where all these digital transformations are happening. So this could be termed as a business model innovation, when you are trying to embed the technology which is available or new technologies that could be integrated into the businesses to take it forward, could be a business model innovation. Then you have the organizational innovation. Managing and sharing resources in a new way can also be an innovation. This way it is possible to use resources and assets in a completely new way. So that is meant by organizational innovation. So a new way in which you organize the resources and share the resources which can be useful to the humanity can be termed as organizational innovation. Then you come to process innovation, where innovation in the processes can improve the efficiency or effectiveness of the existing methods. Possible process innovations involve production, delivery, or customer interaction. For example, the process innovation like engaging with the customers for reviews. Suppose there is an online platform, how do you just go for purchasing a product? You always look at the customer reviews. The customer interaction is enhanced through the technological capabilities that is introduced onto your web platform. So after using the product, the customer always puts their reviews so that it will be beneficial to the others, or rather you get a review of what the product is, which will be helping others in understanding what the product is. So it is just like a word of mouth interaction which is brought into the process of that sales. So this could be a process innovation which is brought in with the help of again technology. So actually when you are just trying to make this differentiation, many an innovation can be clubbed together into one. So you can also term this as technological innovation, in the sense that the technology is embedded into this process in order to achieve such kind of an innovation. So this can be also put in the head of technological innovation, and also the process innovation, where you are enhancing the efficiency of the process of the purchase of the consumer. Then you have the marketing or sales or new channel innovation. New methods to capture or hold attention from the customers, either through use of innovative marketing or sales concept, or using new channels for acquisition or the sales. For example, if you are just looking at the promotion aspect when it comes to the marketing or sales, the digital marketing has taken different strides. Again, if you just try to look at the technological innovation, the technology is embedded into this aspects, so that you take this the promotions what you do as a part of the marketing to the next level. So this new methods to capture and hold attention from the customers by using this marketing or sales concepts will be actually advancing on this customer acquisition or the sales. So this appears as a marketing or sales or a new channel innovation which uses this technology aspect of it. The other innovations could be the network innovation. By connecting different groups and stakeholders, it might be possible to create an extra value. And this type of innovation is very common due to the ICT services. So network is almost integral part of the business. So without the networks, we will not be able to just connect to the businesses, and you will be able to understand what are the technologies which is coming in, and you will be able to understand what are the new developments in the business, and connect to the geographies, and connect to the partners, and connect to different businesses which will be bringing advantage to the business. So connecting to different groups and stakeholders, which results in advancement of the business, could be treated as the network innovation. So technology again has facilitated this network innovation, like the community groups in the WhatsApp and the social media platforms has actually taken business to the next level, where you will be able to identify and communicate to those who are interested by forming these groups over the platforms. Then another aspect of the innovation is customer engagement and retention. Innovative concepts that try to have the engagement of the customers and keep the retention up is one of the impactful kind of a thing when it comes to the innovation. And the goal is to have innovative models to keep the customer locked in and engaged. So there are different kind of for example, one aspect that could be embedded onto the customer engagement kind of a thing is the gamification. So you are involving the customer to involve with some kind of an activity which will keep them engaged and be attached to the product or to the service, so that they continue to have their journey along with the company. That loyalty is being maintained by keeping them engaged, and the two-way communication is being ensured by the company. So the innovation could happen in the case of the customer engagement, retention, and this could use the technology as well. So these days we need not have an individual one-to-one interaction with the customers, the group engagement or the gamification kind of a thing, where you keep the customer engaged, or the interesting kind of a thing that is appealing to the customer can increase the engagement of the customers. So that is also one part of the innovation what we try to bring in. Now we come to what exactly is design thinking. So this process of design thinking we have to be familiar with, and how we use this design thinking, the applicability of design thinking into understand what is the customer problems is our kind of introducing design thinking into this aspect of this entrepreneurial journey. So design thinking is a design methodology that provides a solution based approach to solving the problems, and it is extremely useful in tackling complex problems that are ill-defined or unknown by understanding the human needs involved, by reframing the problem in the human-centric ways, by creating many ideas in the brainstorming sessions, and by adopting a hands-on approach in prototyping and testing. So basically, as we said, design thinking involves a human-centered design in which you try to solve the problems. Now, how do you solve the problems? So for that, basically we need to understand what are the basic complex problems that the humans might have. So how do you just identify the problems? That is through understanding the problems of the customer or the person who is in observation. So you have to be empathetic towards that person. So understand what the person feels when they have a particular situation, when they are in a particular situation. That is the key to that. Once you are empathetic to the person, you will be able to understand what that person feels, and you have to deep delve into different levels of feeling and how many people are feeling in the same way, so that becomes a big problem or intense thing that has to be solved. Now, once you have defined the problem, the next aspect of it is that you design the solutions which is solving that problems exactly that will be suiting to the customer's requirement. So it is basically an interaction based method of understanding what the others feel and defining that, and then be creative so that you are designing the solutions which are actually usable for solving such kind of a problem. So this is a systematic approach which helps you in entrepreneurship, because entrepreneurship is always about, ideating. Now the ideation, out of thin air you cannot just do the ideation, because if you are just having the idea, the notion like, if you put the chemicals A and B, you get C. So that is of not use to any other person, means, there is no point in making such kind of ideas or such kind of a product. So the key to entrepreneurship, key to ideation is basically trying to identify what the market needs. It could be a need, it could be a problem that need to be solved, it could be a desire of the customer, whatever. So this has to be identified and then worked upon it, so that you create some kind of a positive mindset out of it. Now, what is that design thinking process? So this is very much required in the design thinking approach. So in the design thinking, this is a 5-stage process. So in the 5-stage process, you have 5 methodologies or 5 stages in which you are taking this design thinking approach. So this includes empathizing, defining, ideating, prototyping and testing. So I'll just go through this process of it. So the first thing what we need to do is empathizing. So as we said, design thinking is a human-centric approach and we need to understand the problems. The first aspect of it is empathizing with the journey of the customer and then defining it. So it is basically to understand the problem of the customer. So what is empathy? So empathy is crucial to a human-centered design, and empathy allows design thinkers to set aside their own assumptions about the world in order to gain insight into users and their needs. So this is basically told about research, like, you always have a bias when you are trying to observe others. Maybe it happens like, your thinking is also coming up, so that you mix up with the others thinking, or you should be able to. So what empathy tells is that you should be able to understand what the other person is thinking. So empathy is that kind of a thing which allows to set their own assumptions about the world. You just think, or you just throw away your own assumptions, your own mindsets, and just think to understand what the other persons feel. So that is all about empathy. Or otherwise you say that you step into the other person's shoes, then only you understand as to what the other person feels. So empathy is the first thing. So you have to just understand the other person with empathy. Now once you empathize, you start to get what other persons feel, what are all their problems. So now what you have to do? You have to define, and during the define stage you put together the information that you have created and gathered during the empathizing stage, and this is where you analyze your observations and synthesize them in order to define the core problems that you and your team have identified up to this point. And you have to define the problem as a problem statement in a human-centered manner. So this is more important in the sense that there could be different problems that are identified, and you have to define each and every problem, or consider that which is that basic problem that the customer really needs to solve. You might have in your everyday life, you might come across a lot of problems, and what is that we are just trying to understand about the customer. So what is the technical skill that you have which could be matched with the customer requirement in order to solve that? So focus upon that particular problem, and once you are focused upon a particular problem, you try to identify as to what is there with that problem, what exactly that the person feels about that particular problem that you want to identify. So that is about defining that. Now once you have defined that, you are very much conversant with the problem. So what could be the next step? So once you have identified the problem, it is of ideating. And with the solid background of empathizing and defining, once you identify as to what is your problem, you and your team members can start to think out of the box to identify the solutions to the problem statement you have created, and you can start to look for alternative views of alternative ways of viewing the problem. So what is that? Idea 1, idea 2, you think out of box, never constrained. So the creativity code says that you should never constrain your ideas. Think. And it is up to your evaluation as to just cut off which one is practical, which one is usable, which one exactly matches the problems. So this is the process of ideating. And so with the solid background of this empathizing and defining, this steps goes beyond that for ideating. So the creativity part is kicked off. Now once you have identified that idea, that big idea, like after you evaluate your idea, you select as to which is the one more practical or more practical, or that one which matches the suitability to the problem that you want to solve. So the step which is coming up is known as the prototyping. So the design team, what they do is that they will now produce a number of inexpensive scaled down versions of the product. It is known as a minimum viable product, or specific features found with the product, so that they can investigate the problem solutions generated in the previous stage. So it is to the team, like you immediately once you find that there is an idea which matches the problem, you don't go commercial. Instead, you have a step in between that is known as a prototyping step. So what you do is that you create a inexpensive scale down versions of the product that you can test in the market. You can take to the customer and you can ask the customer to use it or consider it and evaluate whether it is of use to the problem that the customer has identified. So the prototypes may be shared and tested with the team itself in other departments or a small group of people outside the design team. So that kind of a thing may be taken up once a prototype may be made. And this is an experimental phase, and the aim is to identify the best possible solution for each of the problems identified during the first 3 stages. And the solutions are implemented within the prototypes, and one by one they are investigated, either accepted or improved or re-examined or rejected on the basis of the user's experience. So it is up to the team, like once you take it for to the market, you can, so it doesn't happen like whatever idea you have created into the prototype will be accepted by the customers. They say that there's a problem with the solution, I don't think that this is going to work out. So of course what happens is there is a non-acceptability. That means you have to rework on your product. So it is known as pivoting. So you come back to the store and or your lab and just try to rework the product so that a different kind of a solution can be developed, or you can improve on the certain features. So sometimes what happens is that with the product certain features could be wrong, or certain features could be mismatched. In fact, there is no kind of a wrong, so there could be a mismatch, so that mismatch could be corrected. So thus goes the type of problem solving. So what is the next step? So this is the iterative process. The results generated during the testing phase are often used to redefine. So that is what we said. After prototyping, what you do is go for testing. So the results generated during the testing phase are often used to redefine one or more problems and inform the understanding of the users, the conditions of use, how people think, behave and feel to empathize. And even during this phase, alterations, refinements are made in order to rule out the problem solutions and derive a deep understanding of the product and its users as possible. So these are the 5 steps which helps you in understanding the design thinking. Hope you are conversant with that. So we'll just see the steps once more. Empathize, define, ideate, prototype and test. So these 5 stages are very much required to take up design thinking as a process for innovation. So empathizing the customer journey, defining the problem. On the basis of that, you create the ideas, go for prototyping it, and take it to testing in the market to find there is a market fit, or find the product market fit. So these are the 5 stages of design thinking. Now, this is something which we can add to the empathizing stage. So we tell that you understand the customer. So once you are telling that, understand or empathizing your customer, how do you do that? So this is one technique which can be very much required or very much useful when it comes to empathizing with the customer. So this is a very quick and easy to learn visual method to unearth the needs that have not been expressed and help in empathizing the customers. And this is known as customer journey mapping. It is an interview based sticky note technique for mapping the process that someone is going through. So it is nothing but, if you want to map a customer journey, the thing is that you just go along with the customer, or it can be the participant observation or the non-participant observation, whatever. The customer's journey or customer's travel throughout a day is mapped so as to understand as to what is that customer is feeling. So it is a time travel, or you just travel with the customer through whatever facets what that customer is moving through. And you create a map on the basis of the travel and find out to what exactly the customer is feeling. By asking them, you will be able to understand as to what that customer feels. And create a map on the basis of that, where you try to find out as to whether the customer is happy or whether the customer is going to be sad. So this is one journey map that can be created. Write the major steps as the customer experience. Use one sticky note per step. Arrange the notes in the chronological order. Interview the real customers. Correct the procedure according to the new insights and mark the notes with emotional highs and lows. So this is what we do. So it is like this, the customer map appears like this. You can take a board, you can take a sticky note, and if you have a customer, start with the first step from where. So if it is a household which you are observing, and it is a homemaker you are observing, start with the first step. So she gets up, and at 9:30 or 6:30, she is late. Then what is the next step? She has to cook. So the next step is, you use another sticky map. So likewise, you create the journey, and each stages try to see what that person is feeling, and then understand as to what is that feeling, whether she is happy or sad. So that is the way of identifying the problem. And once you identify that particular problem, try to understand, delve into the problem, what exactly is the problem. So there could be different facets for the single problem. So try to understand. So that gives you more of information as to how you have to be creative about solving the problem. So this is the method. So journey mapping represents the real experience of the path of the users, and every research detail counts, and every decision along the user's path impacts the value of our business. And in design thinking, we are particularly interested in the red zone where the pain points occur. So that is you mark it red. And we must understand what these pain points are and what next action is that user takes. And pain points, it's basically, so when you are telling us a pain point is nothing but the problem that is identified by the identified. So it could be the customer himself that might be identifying the pain points, or you as an observer who is identifying the pain points. So this becomes a crucial moment in the user's choice of action. So they can affect users negatively. Users might get frustrated, opt out and leave the product or site or the app. So the pain points is very much crucial. You have to find out whether it is a crucial pain point that you have to solve or not. Or if it is not that crucial, nobody will bother about the solutions. And if it is crucial, they will search and they will really identify that is your pain point and use the product. Now, we'll see a typical example for a customer journey map. Now, the positive experience is in green, or rather the grey color which is given on the picture, and the pain points are mapped in negative kind of a thing. So, it is a mapping technique. Instead of the sticky note, you are using the mapping technique. So, a simple example of a user journey map who is looking for a dress online, and the pain points or the negative experiences are shown in red below the baseline and positive experiences above the baseline. And this is adapted from a user study for Dressmate and online clothes sharing community. And the figure shows a path of user experiencing several pain points before she found what she was looking for. In this case, she was browsing online for a particular clothing item, but it took some time before she could find an item she liked. So, we will just look at what is that journey that lady is having. So, this is the lady who is Lizzie, who is shopping for a dress online. We all shop for dresses. So, what happens? You open your app or website, whatever, but the pain point or the problem with that app is that, or the website is that, most of us just try to browse through the offerings what the company has or what the e-commerce site has, but it has a limited budget. Now, within the limited budget, when she is trying to focus upon, she has got a budget, and when you are trying to find the clothes that is fitting to the budget, again there is a limitation, like there are only few choices. So, always we want more of choices, and the thing is, like if you have more choices, more confused we are, but when you are limited choices, we just think about cramped. So, that is one pain point that she has, like she has got a limited budget, and or limited budget, and the offerings which are limited in that budget. Then the next thing what she finds is that she can't find her size. That's a problem. Again, of course you have a constraint in finding what you are just trying for. Then the second thing what she finds is that her size is a little bit on the higher side. Maybe she's obese. Now, when you are just looking at the online sites and the dress patterns, for the obese persons, you cannot just find many dresses which are possible. You like a dress item, but if you just look for the sizes, not available. Of course, for the small offerings, sometimes you might get a lot of choices. So, it is possible for her. So, that is one of the problem, another problem that she has. Then, refines her search by the size. So, next what she does is that, this is not going to work out, within the budget when you are just searching for the limited kind of offerings and you like one and you try to purchase it, you don't find the size at all. So, what she does is that, just leave the budget over there and refines the search by the size. Then what happens is not many listings. Okay. So, budget and the listings is not matching, and also size and the listings are not matching. Doesn't have many options. So, whatever. So, the two criteria she has is, one is budget and another one is the size. So, these two options are not working in the case of this lady Lizzie. Then suppose and what happens is that she is fed up, but she finds an item but needs a confirmation from the store. And she is just waiting for that confirmation, that she wants to make a confirmation or want to make a checkout, but you have to get a confirmation from the store. So, this is a boutique, online boutique, which is providing the services. So, it has to be you have to get it on time, because you are purchasing the dress for a event. You have to get the confirmation that this will be delivered in these many number of days. A long wait for the store response, and hear back from the store, but she is okay, satisfied, likes the item and the price, and goes for buying. So, this is typically a journey of the consumer who is trying to buy a product online. They have the constraints listed out, and these are the problems in red. which you have identified as the customer problem. So why don't you work on this? Can you solve this problem? Is there any possibility that, is there any idea that you can solve this problem? So this is the customer journey mapping. So this is where you have to just put your head. So the design thinking is finding a journey which is helping you to identify the problem of the consumer. So we are going to have an example of the design thinking process. So till this time we were speaking about the theory of design thinking. So design thinking is all about solving the problem or solution based problem solving. When you're coming on to design thinking, we studied that this is a human centered design and it has got a lot of application in entrepreneurship, or while creating a business proposition, this has got a lot of relevance, and that is why we just looked on to what is design thinking and how we can come across this design thinking aspect when it comes to entrepreneurship. This example, with the help of an example, we will just try to take 2 or 3 steps of design thinking. So when we were seeing the theory of design thinking, we understood that empathizing is the first step of design thinking. So in order to find out a problem, the first thing what we have to do is empathize with the customer. You have to step into the shoes of the customer and understand as to what he or she feels, exactly what he or she feels. And also, once you are stepping into the shoes of the customer, try to be with him or her to understand his or her journey. So empathizing involves a lot of time and also some amount of understanding of the customer. So with the help of the qualitative research methods, we'll be able to come across the customer's problems. So how do we do that? With the help of an example, we first go into the first steps of design thinking, that is empathizing and defining, which actually helps you to sort out the problems that the customer faces. So typically we take an example of a working woman. So let the theme be a working woman. So we all know that a working woman's life is going to be very hectic. She has to balance between the home and the workplace. So be it any kind of a profession, let it be bank, let it be an IT professional, let it be a teacher, or rather any profession. So you have to go through the household chores and also look after the family and also go for the job. So this is a multi-tasking kind of an activity which all women do. We speak about women empowerment, but at the end of the day, they have to just take care of the family or some kind of a responsibility is handled by women in the family. So what could be the problems faced by women? So basically when we are trying to understand the customer, we should be standing in her shoes and since it is a woman, I'll be using her. So her shoes and trying to understand as to what exactly is happening with the woman. So let us look into the working lady's household, a home in which she is handling all her activities at her home till she leaves the office. So basically when we look at all this journey or all the activity what she has to do, so we will come across different dimensions of the problem which helps you to better understand the problem. So what are all the aspects what we need to look into? So how do you basically do that? So this technique by which we are just going to study a customer, basically a working woman, and this technique is known as a customer journey mapping. So it is basically traveling with the customer, nothing more than that, trying to understand different facets of the journey, what happens in between. Like, you might be interested with some kind of a food kind of a thing. So your journey will be traveling with her in her kitchen, like, where she is trying to create or make the food for the family or leaving for the office. What are all the chores that is to be done, where she finds a problem like that.
or otherwise maybe you are concerned with the travel kind of a thing. So you could be looking into, you know, what are the problems that is faced by the woman while making her travel, maybe when she has to frequently travel from her home to office, and where there is no support available. So depending upon the theme on which you have to concentrate, select the journey that you have to travel with the customer. Since I am interested with the food kind of a thing, I'd be just looking onto the home of the customer. So a home of the customer would sound appropriate in this case. So how do you just look at this working woman? So the working woman, as we said, like I'm also a working woman, so this is basically happening to any working woman per se. Like, you know, you have a lot of things to do in the office and also at the home. Sometimes you will have to carry all those things at home as well in order to finish the task on time. So maybe you would say that you know, you are not having a work life balance. Of course it is there, but still, you know, sometimes the working woman will have to do the some kind of an activity, take some kind of an activity till home as well. So what we call as planning for the next day or planning for a week, everything may or may not happen in the case of a working woman. Sometimes there could be people who plan meticulously so that, you know, everything goes very smooth. But you know, there could be people as well, like, you know, like me, who does not make so much of planning in order to conduct these activities. So what could be the propositions, business propositions, which is suitable to each type of customer? So basically it is all about understanding the customer. What type of customer are you speaking to? What are the aspects that you need to focus upon when the customer is speaking, and what is that dimension of the problem that that customer is facing? So this is the basic angle through which you have to look at the customer problem. So when you're trying to traverse this journey or travel with this customer, the basic thing is that try to do it according to the chronological order. So what we do is that we take a chart paper or a board like this, where we try to delineate what is that journey. So this is the first step, this is the second step, likewise it goes, and also it has to be in the chronological manner so that we understand how that journey is being carried off by the customer, and trying to understand, delve into the problem in order to understand what exactly is the problem that is faced by the customer. So when you're just looking at this working woman, you know, the working woman has to get up a little bit early in order to just make all those items of food for the family, and also for herself to take to the office, and also she has to reach the office on time. Or rather, if you are just telling if she is a teacher, she has to reach the class on time. So these kind of things are there. So there should be a fixed time on which she should be getting up. So there is a fixed time. So if you are just looking at this customer, she has to get up at 5:30 a.m. But usually that happens, like, you know, every day it will not be like. And what happens is that, you know, someday it happens like, you know, you get up at 6 a.m. So your usual time should be 5:30, but you know, there is a lack and it is 6 a.m. and waking up. So you understand that this is the first thing what you do, waking up. And when you wake up, you understand that you are a little bit late, okay? And also you have to just go by the emotions of the customer as well. So when you are making this note, okay, it could be a chart paper and a sticky note, what you can do, or otherwise it can be a board itself where you draw this squares over there on which you fit your emotions. So the emotions over here is like, you know, you are a little bit unhappy, but you cannot do anything. Already, you know, the time has passed, you cannot do anything. So you have to just rush. So after 6 a.m. you are thinking of making the breakfast, and you are ready for making the breakfast at 6:15 a.m. Okay, so for in most of the South Indian houses, you can see that, and for the working woman or the working class, what happens is that you depend upon the easily makeable kind of a food. So maybe you look at the options over there, like it could be dosa or idli, okay, and also it could be like upma. It could be like your steam cake, boiled one. And you go for the options which are possible. And since it is late, this could be the best option that is possible. Go for the dosa, and when I look at in the fridge, you find that dosa batter is not there. Somehow you have wished to, manage with your dosa batter, and this is ruled out. And again, when you look at, what could you make again? Okay, you have upma and steam cake, and also we'll go by another one, like, the South Indians or the Keralites like what is known as idiyappam. Okay, and that could be also one option, but idiyappam is one kind of a cuisine which takes too much of time. But this could be appreciated by the kid, but unfortunately you don't have the time. And also you have another option, like there's a bread and jam. Okay, always when it happens, like you don't have the time, you depend upon this kind of an option. And as a mother who is health conscious, you want to serve the family with a healthy kind of an option in the morning. You don't want to go by the bread, okay, which could be kind of a unhealthy kind of an option, in the sense that it is a food which is not that fibrous. So upma or steam cake, idiyappam is ruled out because it is going to be time consuming. And also upma and steam cake. The steam cake could be the option. Mostly people do not like, or people do not land upon upma. So what happens is that they land upon the steam cake. Okay, it's fine. I decide to go by the steam cake. Then for the steam cake you require the powder, okay, and also the scraped coconut. And when it comes to scraping the coconut, that's also one of the toughest thing, what ladies find. So I have an option, like I have a coconut scraper run on electricity. But when I just take my coconut and try to do that, the electricity is gone. And usually that happens when you are struggling, you find it more difficult again. So the steam cake option has to be ruled out again. Just like that, electricity is not there. So ultimately you land upon your upma kind of an option. So this one is not there. So I'm just ruling out the other things out there. Okay, the upma is there. Okay, fine. So somehow we are just trying to land upon this upma, and I decide to go with upma kind of an option. But it is not favored by the kid. Others might adjust, but the adults might adjust, but the kid is not ready to adjust. So here there is a confusion. Okay, the mother is not that happy. Again, what is the emotion over here? The emotion is unhappy. So this is upma, that is fine. It is a breakfast. It can be served to the other members of the family, but the kid could be served with bread and toasted bread or jam or whatever. So again, so there is a confusion, and there is a it's not so happy about it. So create upma and the bread. Okay, so this is about the breakfast. Okay, then next what happens when it comes to the breakfast? After having this breakfast, so at 6:30 everything is ready. The kid is ready to go to the school, so has the breakfast. Okay, here the kid is having the breakfast. So our focus is the kid. So the kid is having the bread. Okay, and think about the lunch. Lunch is not ready at all. You cannot just serve the lunch for the kid at this point of time. So the mother asks the kid to take the lunch from the canteen. Okay, maybe the mother will be also ready to ask the other adults of the family who is just leaving for the workplace, could be also adjusted by asking them to dine outside just for a day. So here also the breakfast, the mother is not that happy with the bread, but the kid is okay with the bread. And again, if you are just looking, our customer is the mother. Again, she is a little bit unhappy, okay, about serving the bread. Upma is not an option for the kid. So here again the journey goes. So 6:30 a.m. somehow that is over, and by 6:45 you are ready for cooking the lunch. Okay, lunch preparation of the lunch. So how do you just come across this. So when you're just thinking about the lunch, okay, I have suggested to the kid to have from the canteen. And also maybe other members of the family will be adjusting from outside. But there are people at home, like, the aged people. Okay, aged people at home, of course, they are having the diseases, and they have to have the medicines on time, and they have preferred kind of diet. So that cannot be just ordered at this point of time. Okay, and what the mother does is that, or the working woman does is that, she cooks for the aged population, that is special diets. Special diet is the that you cannot avoid. So go for the cooking of the special diet. Now, again, is this a problem? Yeah, this could be a problem in the sense that when you are trying to cook a lot of things out there in the morning, and pretty much you are very much late for the office, you are having a special diet menu over there, which you cannot just avoid. You have to just cook that, maybe 2 items in the menu. And and if at all you are taking a decision to cook the lunch for the whole family, again another 2 items would be there. Okay, total 4 items. So this is going to pretty much take a lot of time when it comes to the journey. So I'm just going to stop with this journey over here. And if you are just taking this journey forward, what happens is, like, you prepare the lunch, and again 7:30 you are pack the lunch, or keep it ready and clean the household, and be just ready for the office, after which you will be able to come across these problems. Now, these are some of the problems. So we got 4 journeys, or 4 part of the journeys, like waking up, cooking the breakfast, and sending the kid to school, and also cooking the lunch. So can you just find out as to what exactly could be the defining of the problem? So this is a mapping of the problem. So we have mapped as to, this is the mapping what is happening, like, whenever lady is getting up, and usual kind of hassles what one has to face when it comes to morning. So we'll just see how to define the problem. We'll just go by the first one, the breakfast kind of a thing. So we will look into how to define a problem. So we'll take this breakfast example. So that is about deep delving into that problem. What is that exactly faced by the customer? So if you just look at many homes, when it comes to the working woman, and also if you have a kid at home, they struggle between this preparing of the breakfast and sending this kid to the school. You have to exactly make all those things that is required by the kid, and also the adults in the family, make them have the food and send them to school, and you are having only a little bit of time. So this is the problem, and this is what you have to solve. So if you just try to put it here, like, this is the woman, or otherwise we'll term it as mother. Okay, and we have another stakeholder over here, the kid. And if you're just trying to look at the mother, if you just look at her habits, she is a health conscious, what you call it as, you don't want to serve the family with the junk food. Okay, and you want the family to have the cooked food, home cooked food. But the kid is like, he or she is very fond of the junk food. If you are getting this, noodles or any other kind of pastas, the kind of food that the kids would like would be in a different way. And, and the mothers and kids will be always at a tug of war in order to convince her. The mother will be very much struggling to convince the kid that that's not good for health, and the kid will be struggling that I don't like the taste of the other foods. So this tug of war happens in most of the houses. The kid does not like the natural or normal food, or otherwise the conventional foods. So this is where we have to know. So what is that business proposition we can just bring in order to solve the problem of the mother and the kid? So here we try to define what exactly is the problem. So here when we are just trying into finding out the problem of the mother, she wants to have or she wants to cook a breakfast which is very much healthy for the family and which is also convincing for the adults as well as the kid. So that is a requirement of the mother. Whereas the kid says that he or she doesn't want any kind of a conventional food which is of the conventional nature, what you force onto the kid. Instead, he wants all those foods which looks like the noodles or the even the idiyappam is favored by the kid only due to the reason that it forms just like a noodle. So, can we just adjust the food in such a manner, or ready to cook kind of a version? Like you don't have to struggle a lot when it comes to cooking of the breakfast. It takes too much of time when you are late, and if can you have an option which helps you to cook very easily, and which is liked by the kid, and also which looks like a food which is preferred by the kid, but at the same time that is healthy enough. For example, there are a lot of extruded kind of healthy alternatives available these days. Like this is known as the International Year of Millets, and millets is known as a low cost alternative, or it has got a lot of nutritious value. And it comes, and if you are able to make this millets into this kind of options which are preferred by the kids, that is also going to be gratifying or satisfying for the mother as well. So, can you land upon an option like that? So, that is a question. So, this is the problem statement, like you have to design a product, okay, which is easily, which can be easily cooked, and also which favors the taste of the kid as well as the mother. So, this could be one of the problem that you would be solving for. So, likewise, you just can look on to different problems faced by the customer based on your interest and based on how these people are feeling, the customer is feeling. Already you have interviewed a customer, or you have just traversed the journey with the customer, so you will be in a position to find out what is that pinching problem that the customer is facing. And coming into another one, like we will just define another problem as well. So, if you are coming into this problem, lunch preparation, or you are having this aged people as well, and also other people. So, there are two kind of options that is required. So, here what happens is that there is a diet which is prescribed, and it is not easy to prescribe this kind of diets. And also you have the normal diet or normal cuisine. So, this is that again becoming a task for the households. So, how do you just solve it? Can you get a diet supplied by some agency onto your home, so that what happens is that you do not have to worry about much about one kind of a diet which you have to serve to your aged population. So, that could be a business proposition asked as or suggestive kind of a solution which solves this problem of preparing too many kind of alternatives in a single go. So, concerning or you try to understand as to what is the journey. So, from each of the journey, wherever they are unhappy, wherever the customer is unhappy about doing this, they will be able to specify as to what is that problem they are facing. So, accordingly what you have to do is that define the problem. So, here the problem is regarding the diets to be prepared. So, what are all the diets to be prepared? And if at all these diets, this much of menus are there, is it possible to ease the problem or ease of cooking? So, how that is possible? Can you just suggest RTE products, ready to eat products, ready to cook products, is it possible? Or can it suggest something which helps you to get these diets at your doorstep and you do not have to worry about it? And here the suggestive is again ready to cooked products and ready to eat products. Again, this is the healthy kind of options. Okay, so your customer, basically you understand that your customer is health conscious and also they require the products which are healthy. Healthy in the sense that it is healthy for the humans and also it should be specially made for the taste. And especially when you have the kids at home, the taste is going to be a very big concern. And when it is regarding the diet, there will be prescribed diets. It could be the age, it could be the pregnant woman, it could be the people who are ill. So, such kind of a diets are also requirement of the houses. So, just identify what are the requirements that the customer has. And after preparing this journey map, what you have to do is that you have to come together. So, if you are preparing in teams, you have to just observe other customers as well. Whether this pattern is the same for different customers, for a number of customers, or only you are having this problem. If only you are having this problem, you cannot just have a business proposition for that. Because there is no customer base, there is no potential customers for your product. Or otherwise you find that there are a lot of people experiencing the same type of a problem and they want a solution for what you are telling as a problem that you have. So this comes as a problem solving approach, and this is the way how you have to empathize and you have to come up with defining. And once you define the problem, you ideate, you can just come up with, as I was telling, what are the number of solutions, RTE product, ready to eat product, ready to cook product, or are you just suggesting a customer service, a catering service which provides a healthy diet alone, or are you suggesting a healthy kind of a diet serving, catering service which promotes the dietary patterns which is prescribed by the wellness clinics. These days, in Kerala we can find that the wellness clinics has boomed because a lot of people are affected by the lifestyle diseases. So, what is that idea and how do you just evaluate the idea? So, once you confine yourself to a single idea, the next step could be prototyping. That is, you make it into a minimum viable product or a prototype, a single use or single product which can be demonstrated. And you take it to the customer, test it, you ask the customer whether it is suitable to you. And if you are getting this product in the market, whether you will be able to purchase it and whether it will be suiting your requirement, whether it will be solving your problem. And the customer will be happy that if you get any product that is suiting your needs, they will surely go for your product. So, this is the way of design thinking approach, and this is the way how you map your journey, map the journey of your customer and deep delve into identifying the problem and then come up with the solutions. So, thank you all. Hope that you understood and you will be able to just come up with a customer journey mapping of your interest. Thank you.